Hey, Lacey. It's funny you're talking about epiphanies, because I had a major epiphany recently, and it has to do with delusions and the delusional behavior that comes about because of it. I'm not talking about religion, although that's one, it's sort of a stepping stone, but I'm talking about the major delusion that everyone seems to believe in. This cuts across, atheists, theists, whoever, and that is this. Now, what is this? Well, you say, hey, it's $20. Okay, it's $20. What is $20? I mean, really, what literally is it? Do you know? Yet you agree that this is worth something. You agree to exchange it in order to get all your basic necessities of life. Food, shelter, clothing, education. But what is it? What makes it valuable? Well, I guess this has always been my problem with a lot of the talk on YouTube by atheists about how religion is the cause of all our problems, to hear them tell it. And, if it weren't for religion, people would just, behave ethically if it was left to science. This is a scientifically calculated mathematical system to keep the masses of people under state control. That's what it's for. That's its only purpose. This Federal Reserve note, which is legal tender for all debts, public and private, is produced by the Federal Reserve Bank in exchange for government bonds, which are basically shares in the government. Now, what does the Federal Reserve Bank exactly get in exchange for this money that they give us all to, whose only purpose is to serve that debt, that government debt? I mean, think about it. Do you think that we're in Iraq because of Jesus? Now, you might be able to gas people's heads up, some people with that, but it's basically a belief in more down-to-earth gods. Let's call them demigods, because that's kind of how they think of themselves. We're talking about a ruling class that believes that by virtue of being born in the right family and going to the right school with the right people, that they should have control over our lives. It's just like the divine right of kings. Okay? Now, getting back to Iraq, all oil is traded in dollars. Why do you think that is? The military power is the ultimate economic hedge, because it's a way of, basically war is a way of killing off your creditors. A good example of how, religion really has ceased to be the prime motivating force for government, brutality, and if the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics isn't enough to convince you, let's look at the Third Reich. Did they exterminate all those people because of religion? Really, you think? It's just a way of balancing their books, man, by getting rid of a large section of their population, seizing their property. Think about that. And it's like, it wasn't that largest segment. It doesn't have to be that largest segment of the population. They represent interest. The problem is, when banks create money out of debt, they create the principal. They don't create the interest. So, in a sense, there can never really be enough money to pay off all the debts. As time goes on, we sink deeper and deeper into debt. Well, as anybody who's ever been in debt to a bank knows, if, let's say, you own a business, after some time, that bank is gonna want a level of control in your business, because they own a controlling interest, because you still can't pay off that debt. So it doesn't really matter who the president is. The most powerful federal official isn't even elected. He's the chairman of the Federal Reserve Bank. Right now it's Ben Bernanke. Right? And they get to set the interest rates based on what they think the economy is doing. So this is basically just a system to keep us all under control. We are born into debt, and we never get out. Because you have to use these notes of indebtedness to get anything that you want, whether it's food, clothing, shelter, education. But some education is more valuable than others. And the way the law works, well, we all have rights, right? And we're American citizens. We got legal rights. Well, if you've ever had any actual dealings with the legal system, then you would know that your rights only exist insofar as you can afford to defend them. That's a fact. You go to any court in the land, you know what you're going to see? Just go to a court. Go to a courtroom one day and just sit through a whole day of court and watch what happens. You will see poor people begging not to be thrown in jail. That's what you're going to see. And the way to keep them thrown in jail is to give them your money. So, yeah, that's my little epiphany that I've had recently. I thought I'd share that with you. You know, I figure that's some food for thought right there. Peace out.